The great Sphinx, Wadjet, and Sia brings us true sight and vision. And that is pretty much my theme for the whole of January. I've just been banging on about vision, purpose, your mission, what you've come here to do. In fact, I talk about that all the time. Let's keep it real. But this video is all about transformation and just, the synchronicity of the great Sphinx opening 2024 for us. Because I've said it in my other video and other videos that I've recorded, I've gone deeply into the medicine of the great Sphinx. Now, the great Sphinx is the space holder, the earth altar. And it's, for me, it's the place where everything begins. It's a great place to start the new earth timeline, because even on my tours, we start at the great Sphinx because we place our intention there. We go to the altar, we work with the Akashic records, which is deeply energetically embedded in the great Sphinx. You want answers, you want to understand, you want to put things down, you want to pick things up. You do that with the great Sphinx. I say he because he comes to me in a very powerful grandfather energy. I've had a long chat one day. I don't even know how long I was in the channel for, but he was a grandfather energy, and I was just chatting. He was like this massive wisdom keeper, but it was like talking to a grandfather, such deep wisdom. And it was just it's like comfy slippers, and we were just rapping for ages. But like, that's the energy that the great Sphinx brings. It gives you an opportunity to come into that space and really figure out, right, okay, practically, like, where have I been? Where am I going? Let's realign, because it's all to do with the Akashic records. I do many meditations and activations, and even when we're in Egypt, we actually do a big one when we're there. But it's that chance to put back any books from your library that you're like kind of done with reading that now, or you've completed it, or you've got bored of it, and like, now you go into the Akashics and you speak to Toth and you're like, right, bring me that book, like the book, the golden book, as I call it, and this will get placed into your hands, and it will be significant of the next timeline that you are now walking with. This is your book, so the great Sphinx for me opens this new earth timeline. And obviously it's a number 8 energy. 2024 is a number 8 energy. So this is now brings us into, because the great Sphinx is obviously the chakra for the third eye. Now, Wadjet came through very powerfully to me at the beginning of the month. I was in meditation and I was sat in front of my altar, and I knew something needed to change my altar because it'd been looking the same way. No disrespect, girls, but I had Sekhmet, Hathor, and Isis. They always sit on my altar, and I was like, I need to change it up, but I don't want to take anybody off. You know what I mean? So I sat there for a good week or two, and then that day, this channel came through, and I was actually playing with my third eye singing bowl, which is got beautiful Horus carvings on it, and the actual chime sound, the vibration, is third eye. So I was given a good go on that, and then I placed the singing bowl on the altar, and then this massive hood, meaning like a cobra hood, just opened up and wrapped around me, and I was like, whoa. And it was Wadjet, and she was like, now put me on there. Now I have this beautiful brass cobra that my grandfather actually was a peacekeeper in Egypt. Go figure. He was on the Nile, built himself a boat and everything because he was bored peacekeeping. And like, yeah, this is where this cobra came from. Family lineages, eh? And this is how I acquired this beautiful cobra. So I placed her, because she's Wadjet to me, on my altar, which is over there. And and then like everything just started to just like link up, and the great Sphinx was like, looks a little bit like a cobra head, even though it's a lion. But the great Sphinx, third eye, Wadjet, it's all about psychic vision with Wadjet, because she sits on the Uraeus of all the gods and goddesses, and she protects, right? So it was all about vision and transformation. I'm chucking that in the mix now as well. So yeah, and then of course we can chuck Sia in this beautiful arena of like, powerful energies. Now Sia is the first creator god we work with Heka. Now Sia is the one that, like, so when we enter into a Heka journey, because we want to get right with everything and get all of your energy sorted, so you can actually be in good order to be a powerful manifester. So that's what Heka is all about. It organizes your energy so you can land into it and just align, so and create what you've come here to do. So the first stage we go into is Sia, and he's all about vision and perception. So these three beings all came in at once, and they were like, yep, we're heading the beginning of 2024. So isn't that powerful? So this stage, I would say, is all about manifestation, but you can't manifest unless you have a clear vision. So get right with that for the month of January, or the first chunk, because as we move into February is a huge portal. Many of you will start to see the physical manifestations of all of your endeavors, even to last year and the year before. It's all coming into that point. Now, all of your things that you've asked for and you thought, well, that never got delivered, it's because you weren't open enough to receive. But now you are, as your higher self is stepping in and you're allowing that merger to come online. You're starting to let go of your shadow a bit more, starting to control less, surrender, surrender, surrender. Now, all of a sudden, everything is energetically finding its place. Physically, we kind of got a bit of a Tetris thing going on. Everything's becoming more aligned. Okay. So everything can just flow more efficiently. So that's what's happening. So now, you know, your visions, your requests from spirit, you're going to find they're all going to come in now. They're all going to start coming at you and like, whoa, I thought that wasn't given to me. I thought it wasn't granted by the universe. No, you just had to expand your energy and align and get in more of a perfect position to receive that, right? So I believe come February, this is just my downloads, what I get. I believe that when February comes, you're going to start to really experience some physical show ups, turn ups, glow ups from what you've actually asked for in the past. It's going to start showing itself in February and obviously beyond, you know, and we're going to run with that theme and that energy. So transformation in the first 6 months of 2024 is going to be massive. It's going to be so big, but you don't have to do anything because let's face it, you've already done it. Do you know what I mean? So we're now talking third eye, everything, vision, perception. You know, you're going to start to work with your divine sight. Everything that pissed you off before is all of a sudden going to just look a bit different. And then you're going to be able to embrace everything, because that's also why vision is very important, and why Wadjet and the Great Sphinx and Sia is all coming around, plus other beings that you're probably connecting with, which are all to do with that. Because if we have any distortion in our lives, we're like, oh, I don't like that, I don't want to work with that, we're kind of like averted to it. That's not adding to the oneness wisdom energy, because essentially that's what we're dropping into in this first 6 months of 2024. So anything that's averted needs your divine sight. You need to change and look at it differently. Okay, I'm going to use social media for because that's like across the board, something that as conscious creators we all battle with, where we look at it and we're like, I don't like the energy. Even me, I get a little bit kind of like, yeah, it's not really a conducive match for me. And sometimes I have good days with social media. I have bad days with it. Do you know what I mean? But I have to kind of smooth that out and make sure that my relationship with it is just reflecting joy, that they're beautiful platforms for me to share on. FYI, YouTube's my favorite place. Love you guys. But they're conducive platforms that will just support me in everything that I do. And that's going to be the same with people, places, situations. It doesn't mean that you have to engage with it all, but your divine sight needs to be on fleek, because you have to be in the joy codes and the love codes with everything. So that's going to be what's happening as well. Perspectives are going to change. Now, this means a lot for all of us, because now all of a sudden we're not hiding in the back of the cave because we've got too much stuff going on out there, which is basically triggering us. Those triggers are going to disappear because your vision, your sight is going to change. So Wadjet, she is the serpent goddess. Here she is, right here. And then you've got Nekhbet, her sister, who is just as powerful as she is, right? You don't mess with these goddesses. They're turning up big time right now because they are like the top of the tier, okay, when you work with goddesses. And like, you approach them humbly, they really are. They're the ones that look after the pharaohs. They're the royalty, sovereignty kind of like, you know, top-notch ones. And this is where we're at, which tells you that you are indeed embodying and accepting and bringing online in the fullness your sovereign being. Your higher self is now coming in. You're starting to think, well, you know what? Maybe I'm not that person that I thought I was. Perception. Everything is vision, right? So just going through my list here. So Wadjet, like we said, she is all about protecting the third eye. The great Sphinx is all about vision. We can go into there and like pick our books out and work with the Akashic records to get a pure line of sight to know which way we're going. Great. Okay. And then we have Sia, who's also going to help us with Sia works a lot with your channeling abilities. Sia, that creator god, will clear out how you hear, how you see, all your clairs, as I call it, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance, all of that kind of stuff. So all of this is being cleared, which is great, because we need a new this, right? So this is what's going down, you know? So when we are that aligned, when we are in so much alignment with the energy of the world and everything like that, expect stuff to become so effortless. Have you ever done gym training, I was a trainer for 19 years, so I've trained many people like this. Tying a tractor tire, yeah, it's brutal, to someone, getting them to do resistance sprinting or getting them to put ankle weights on and getting them to run up a hill, right? They're like training, training, training. And then, you know, it's intense training. Taking that weight off and then say, right, go and sprint there. They usually fall flat on their face because all of a sudden the weight is not there. Whew, they fly. And you're like, Jesus, this is like not beyond effortless. Yeah. That is what's going to happen with us now. So we don't need to effort or push. You're going to feel a significant shift in whatever you just try. It's just going to effortlessly fall into your lap. And you're going to know that you don't need to have the ankle weights on. You're going to know that there's heavy weight behind you. If that's how you're doing it, you know that that doesn't fit in 2024. So you're going to get rid of that. So that's like that's all about understanding and the knowing and the embodiment of knowing what it is to be a divine being in a creator being body. That's the union, right? So this is the thing. We have to create an intention. We have to get clear on our intentions. So I'm asking you, sit with this, all right? Because you had an intention for last year. You had an intention probably this morning, but maybe you want to sit with that and say, do I have a new one? Is there a line of sight that I would like to actually tap into? Is there something else out there for me? Ask Wadjet, ask the great Sphinx, you know, and see. And maybe you want to bring this kind of like this intention to the live that I'm going to do on YouTube this month. Or maybe, you know, you want to just work with it now, whatever. But maybe ask yourself, you know, what does it look like now? What is it? Because what you probably wanted before, you've been so used to chasing it, it's probably not what you want now anyway. So I'm just going to move on now, just to round it all off. The 3 cards that I picked today, actually, which comes from the Gateway of Light Activation, which is my favorite deck of cards here. Can you see that? I've got a funny screen on, so I don't know whether you can just about. So those of you that want to Google it and get it, these are really good cards. They're Kyle Gray. Hopefully you're going to be able to see the cards if I show you. Anyway, the first card that came up was the Stellar Gateway Activation, Infinite Potential Manifestation Vortex. Now, I picked these cards in light of, excuse the pun, you can't see it. There we go. I picked these cards as the Great Pyramid in light of where we are and what we're doing for the month of January. So this one here is the Great Pyramid, Stellar Gateway Activation, Infinite Potential and Manifestation Vortex, which says you are plugging in right here. This is all your upper chakras, right? So you are plugging in right here. You are good to go. The cosmos is loaded. You're kind of like there. You're like, yeah, we're doing this. Happy day. So you are really opening up as a receiver and transmitter in the fullest. So expect your channeling abilities to come online. Ears might get a bit blocked because they're opening up. I'm feeling that a lot. Eyes might get a lot more tired than you used to because obviously everything's changing up here, but you are definitely stepping into your reconfiguration upgrade. Okay. The second one, which was so interesting because this is what was in my channel meditation this morning, that I was being shown that we are plugged in up there, plugged in below. The next one is Inner Earth, Base Chakra, Strength and Security, Laying Foundations. So can you see, let me try and get, there we go. You can get the gist of it. Okay. So that there is the base is the base chakra. Could take it all the way to the Earth Star chakra, I suppose. And that's Inner Earth. Now, what I love about this is I was shown the tree of life, that they were like, you were so deeply, we've always been deeply rooted in the stars. That's the problem. We didn't want to come in and land. But now the issue was, the imbalance was the root system deep into the earth. Did we have our roots deep enough and strong enough to hold us up? We didn't, but we do now, because it was that card and it was that card that was basically just like, okay, well, that's what the message I got this morning just showed up in the cards. Now, this one is a Wadjet card as far as I'm concerned. Then it says for the month of January or beyond, Chamber of the Violet Flame, karmic release, radical transformation, which is there. Okay, radical transformation. Now, let's keep it real as well. We all know what snakes are about, transformation. Yes, we know it's about protection and everything like that. Wadjet is also about huge transformation. When she shows up, okay, expect it to get a little bit hectic. Now, transformation doesn't always come in like a, you know, mellow vibes, cotton wool. No. Transformation can come in full on. And you know what? You're never sent anything you can't handle. Now, little short story with Wadjet. When I was in Egypt many trips ago, I've shared this many times. I was really fighting with myself, and I had my forehead on the chest of the Sphinx, and I felt really sick, really, really sick. And ayahuasca came in. Now, ayahuasca I've worked with a lot, but she was this, obviously she's also represented by a snake as well. She came in, and I was sick, man. I vomited and vomited and vomited, and I didn't know what it was about. But she came through, and she said, "You got to let go. You got to let go of that control. Let go, let go, let go." So I was taken through the paces, managed to kind of get over myself for a second, and then I went into the Great Pyramid, and she came back again, and I purged all the in the Great Pyramids, just like it was a whole thing. So I was like, what the hell is ayahuasca doing in Egypt? First of all, she said she's found everywhere. So yeah, don't get it twisted that she's just meant to be in the jungle. Second thing, that's when I first got introduced to Wadjet, because Wadjet said, "Oh, this is me. I am the serpent goddess here, and I channel that ayahuasca energy. We are one of the same." You approach ayahuasca humbly. Those that work with her, she's very, very intense, and you go in respectfully and humbly, because otherwise she will show you what's up. Yeah. And been there many times before. And then you've got Wadjet, who is exactly the same energy. You have to approach her humbly, otherwise she'll show you what's for as well. She'll certainly put you into alignment if you've got any ego stuff going on. Do you know what I mean? So the two came together. That was my introduction to Wadjet, and she's been with me ever since. So she will come through maybe like a bit of a freight train. And if you're going through something like that, ask her. But, work with the violet flame. Talk to these beings that you might have a sense and understanding that are around and with you, because essentially it's your higher self, because it's all one. But like, work with it rather than vibrating in confusion. But you are going to be going through massive transformation. Even me, I'm expecting it. You know what I mean? We're going to Egypt in May the 9th and the 19th. I'm never not going through my process. And just on that, Egypt, for those of you that are really interested in Egypt has upgraded. The timeline is up there. Okay, she's right up there. And she has been bringing me through in the last 6 months, upgrading me to meet her up there. Because where I left her last year, April, she said, it's not where you left me. And she said, you got to get your Nikes on, girl. So when we go to Egypt in May, it's a completely different mission. Heka, we're going to be doing Heka very, very, very much so, in a very, very powerful way. And I'm not going to be teaching the way that I used to teach, which is all to do with the upgrade. So you're not going to be living the way they used to live. You know what I mean? You're not going to be operating the way you used to operate. So that's the transformation. Okay. So work with the violet flame, make it easy on yourself. Okay. And we're going to walk through this together, hand in hand, side by side. So we will be seeing each other, if you live in California, in February, because I'm doing the Conscious Life Expo. So I will be there talking about all of this. And, I'm going to be moving and shaking this year. And so should you. So if you have an inkling where you want to do your sacred transformational travel, do it. You want to get up and you want to go to expos to come and see Marie, do it. Now is the time. This is the year that you get your back up off the wall and you get there and you get things popping, because no more are we supposed to be stuck in our houses on our own. It's all about oneness wisdom, y'all. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you soon. Peace.